What's going on, guys? Last video you guys saw us stitch weld the engine bay and some random tire shenanigans and stuff like that. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and definitely stay safe just because of all this like COVID pandemic and all that stuff. We're not worried about that because we got a car to build. It's kind of cold in here, so we're gonna see how much I could get done. What are we gonna do today? Right, today we're gonna take out the dash. Or attempt to. I'm basically gonna go step by step, so no time lapse on this one because a lot of guys get confused. So I'll kind of just guide people where to go with it. It's not gonna be fully in depth, but it's gonna be kind of in depth. It's actually really easy. You don't have to deal with that much wiring. It's pretty cool. Sorry about the lack of light. I still haven't gone that far with the garage yet, so yeah. First thing I normally do whenever I pull a dash on one of these things is I like to remove these guys. They're just like little plastic fillers, but they're really fragile, they're really brittle, they're on both sides, and there's a couple screws behind here, so we're gonna do that real quick. Those are out. You can see how really small and fragile they are, so just be careful with them. And then we got a screw there, and we got a screw there, so those two screws are out. This is where they went. There's two connectors right here that you have to undo, and you literally just pop the top bezel of the dash up and press this knob to get it past all that, and this pops out. So you can see where the two plugs went, back there and back there. Next up we have 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 screws for the cluster. Be very gentle when you remove the cluster, because the last thing you want to do is break your speedo cable that you can't buy new anymore. Alright, cluster's out. We got 1 plug, 2 plug, that's the speedo cable. There's a little metal gear in here. Don't play with it, just don't touch it. It's like a big red button, just don't do it. Alright, save yourself the hassle. The connectors go there and there. I'm gonna take the speedo cable out of the car completely because I need it out of the engine bay and stuff. But for anybody who's not doing anything in the engine bay, you guys can leave the speedo cable in. You will still have to pry the speedo cable off to the side so it's free from the dashboard to be able to remove the dashboard, but you can leave it hooked up everywhere else. After that, we're going to focus on the top hat of this dashboard. So there's 1 screw here, 1 screw there, a bunch of push tabs. There's a little filler panel there. There's a screw in behind there. So we're gonna take that out, and then the whole top piece will come off. Alright, so the top piece is out of the dashboard. There's a lighting panel thingy here, wherever you want to call it. I don't know if you can see, but there's a tab up there and a tab down here. I have no idea how Nissan intended us to be able to unclip that connector. So I just kind of gently pry the whole top piece out and pull it back enough where I can undo those 2 screws with a ratcheting socket. And then those are the screws that are different, those 2 screws compared to all the other ones that we've removed. So usually what I'll just do is I'll put them back in, 1 there and then 1 there. And then this piece can just go anywhere where you'd like it. Be very gentle when you pry this up. There's a lot of clips, way overkill. So basically you gotta like push up and then pull the whole thing out at the same time. And it's very nerve-wracking because it feels like you're gonna break everything. So next step, there's a bolt there, a bolt there, a bolt there, and then 1 on that corner. So we're gonna take those 4 out and then move on to, there's a bolt here and there, and same thing on the other side. We're gonna take care of all the 10mm bolts, and we'll move on to the next step after that. Alright, I jumped a couple steps, but I'll just go over them real quick. Moving on to the passenger side, there's a, where is it? You pop the fuse cover off, and then there's a screw here, and then 2 up here. Those hold the fuse box in place. So just remove those, the fuse box will stay with the car. And then this thing is called the SMJ connector. It's the main connector for the dash harness, so it's just held in by a 10mm bolt. You undo the bolt, and the bolt stays with the actual connector piece. Kind of similar to the ECU on newer Nissans. and then you just pull the SMJ connector off, and that's majority of the wiring for the dash. Right, next we have the faceplate for the HVAC, the AC button. If you have AC, or if you have a car with AC, the AC button just slides in and out. There's no locking tabs or anything like that. And then the faceplate also just slides off when you take the knobs, I guess, knobs, buttons, whatever you want to call them. You take those off, literally. You just, where'd it go? 1 second. Alright, so you got the knob thingy there. You just pull it, literally. Just pull it really hard, they come off. And the faceplate, wherever I just put that. Faceplate's usually on, and then you just slide that off too. So that's all good to go. And then there's a screw here, and one screw here. Just take them out, leave them alone. Don't do anything with this, because it stays with the car. I decided to switch over to my phone because screw this lack of lighting. Next step, you don't have to remove the center console. Some guys find it easier, but I find if you just take this screw out and then pry the piece of carpet from in behind here, pry this down, you're gonna notice there's 2 bolts right there. Undo those 2, same thing on the driver's side, and that will release the bottom of the dashboard, and technically the whole thing will be free. So we'll just have to do a couple more things, and then it'll be ready to come out. Alright, so with those bolts removed and the ones on the other side, I skipped a couple of steps because I already had to undo this stuff in a previous video. This kick panel's out. It's literally 2 screws right there, and then the hood latch is 2 screws here, and that just pops out, and then the dash is basically ready to take out. I'm leaving this kick panel off, or filler panel, or whatever you want to call it, because it's not technically a kick panel, in case we need to drop the steering column. That way that's out of the way. I'm gonna remove the steering wheel. It does help to remove the shifter in case you have some issues. My car also doesn't have a stereo because it didn't come with one. Somebody butchered the wiring harness on the stereo side, so I wasn't able to put one back in. But you can keep the stereo with the dash. It stays put. That's one of the cool things about these cars, is you don't really have to do that much to pull the dash, surprisingly. Glove box stays in. Oh, I wasn't able to remove the footlight from that side because it's just, I don't know, it's old, hasn't been removed ever, so it's in there. So when we pull the dash, I'll just have to undo the connector or pop the footlight out, one or the other. This one's already out, obviously. I don't know if I could pull the dash alone because I don't want to stress it, I don't want to crack it. So next time Matt comes over, I think we'll just pull it out. Okay, so Matt showed up, so we're gonna attempt to pull the dashboard, and hopefully I didn't forget anything. So, I made some mistakes. We kind of lied. There was a couple more connectors. So, this big connector, we forgot to unplug that. I forgot about it. And then the dome light thingy, we did that after we were pulling the dash. And then there's also the heater control, I think. That's about it. Other than that, we did have to pull the center console because it was in the way. And then the dash is out. All of it.
Yeah. How many car parts do you have in your room? Guinness has 2 whole cars in his. Black ass pasta.
Shit. There's no light. Pass my phone.
I got it.
Now we're gonna strip the rest.
Yeah.